Hi everyone, it's Nay from Nay Does Stuff. Welcome back. And if you're new here, hello, nice to meet you. So today what I've decided to do is show off this new blanket that I've only just recently finished. It's using a block stitch. So in this video, I'm going to show you the blanket, which is right here. Then I'm going to do a little tutorial on how I did the block stitch and carried up the side so I wasn't having to weave in all the ends because, oh my goodness, I hate weaving in the ends. And then I've just got a time lapse at the end. It goes for ages to show you how I made it. Well, not even how I made it, just a time lapse of me in the process of making it. And yeah, so let's get crack-a-lackin'. This here is the blanket in question. It is taller than I am because I wanted to use up yarn um, that I had, and I had set it aside for the intention of making a blanket. And I thought I had two different sizes. So here you can see that I've got, oh, bring it closer, you can see this gradual color change, and then down here a much more rapid color change. So they're two different types of yarn. I thought they'd work really well together. I'm not sure how I feel about it, if I'm being honest, but I love the middle part. And I do like the end, but as separate things. But unfortunately for me, I put them all in one. And then I bordered it in black. And yeah, so I just used the block stitch. So the block stitch is just 3 double crochets, like I guess a granny stitch. And then you've got the little bits in there. And yeah, I'll get the measurements for you in a second. I totally forgot to do that. But it is long. It is like a very awkward, awkward length blanket because I just kept going. And then as I kept going, I kind of figured that, hey, it's actually not a terrible idea because I made it for my mum and she wanted a blanket to just cuddle up with on the couch. So I figured it's long like a couch. And so when she's got people over or got her grandkids over or whatever, that she could have a blanket to drape over everybody all at once to fit on the couch. So it kind of actually worked out well. Not intentional at all, but there we go. So now I'm going to show you how I did the block stitch and carrying up the edges. So that way I didn't have to weave in all the ends because who's got time for that? Okay, so we're going to do the block stitch. And what I've got here is blue and pink yarn. So that way you can see where each goes. If you want to just do it in one color, you can just ignore the color changing. But for this tutorial, I'm showing you how to do it without having to weave in all the ends. So I've got my hook, I've got some stitch markers, and I'll get started. So to begin with, we want to chain, or start a slip knot, insert the hook. The number is 3N plus 2 for your foundation chain. All right, so we want to do, as I said, 3N plus 2. So for this, I'm just going to do, I guess 21 plus 2. So that's my 21. And then plus 2. And so I start off with the color that I am going to be doing the block with as opposed to the connecting. So then what you can do is you go into whichever one you're comfortable with, really. So you skip the first 2 and then you do a double crochet into everything. So the first row is actually kind of a bit tricky, but we'll get there. I'll show you how to do it. So that's a double crochet. And keep going back until you reach the end. Alright, so there we have our foundation chain. I've made it quite a bit loose. You can do it as tight or as loose as you like, depending on the vibe that you're going for. Alright, now I'm going to put a stitch marker in so I don't lose it. And now I'm not going to turn my work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from this side again, but with the second colour. So I get my slip knot ready. And what I'm going to do is insert it to the very top of the turning chain. So right in there. I'm going to slip stitch it in there. And from then on, you're going to be doing single crochets. So I'm going to didn't demonstrate, sorry. So now I've done my slip up here, which in future rows will be a single crochet. And in here in the gap between the starting or the turning chain and this one, I'm going to do another single crochet. And now what we're going to do is start the block stitch. So as I said before, they are clusters of 3 double crochets. So these posts are easy to I guess figure out where you need to go. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then skip 3 of the posts and then go into the space between the 3rd and 4th, like that, with a single crochet, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into that space, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the space, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into that space, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the space, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Oop, I've made a mistake. You get the idea. I don't remember where I've done the mistake, but I should be left with 1, not 2. I need to be left with 1 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to frog that and ignore its existence, just for the sake of the tutorial. If I was making something, I'd do the whole thing again, obviously, because you want to have the turning chains on each side. Yeah, definitely skip 3. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't know where I've gone wrong. But we shall soldier on. Put in my stitch marker into that loop so I don't lose it. And then we're going to start with the blue. But first I am going to undo that one. See? Okay, so there we go. We've got our blue and our pink. Turn our work. Get the hook away. And then we're going to, what I do is I slip stitch into the first, oh, that was a single crochet, apologies. Slip stitch. Then chain 2, double crochet into the space, and you're going to put 3 of them, so that was 1, 2, 3. And now you don't have to do anything else, but immediately what we're going to be doing is double crocheting into all of these chain spaces. We'll put 3 of them in each. That's 1, 2, and I need a bit more yarn, and 3. And then double crochet immediately into the next space. 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, And just keep doing that until you get to the end. And 3. So there's the last cluster, but what we need to do is go into another double crochet into this space here, into that top of the first single crochet, or in the first row's case, the slip stitch. And that's effectively now your border, your turning chain. And put that in there. And now we're not turning our work, remember, because we're going to go back to the pink. So if you like to think of it as row 1, row 2, a blue and a pink, that's 1 row, and then 2, 3. So every 2 rows is actually a 1 row. Now what I did with my blanket, just sort myself out here. What I did with my blanket is I didn't worry about chaining up the sides. I just loosened the yarn, and then I just slip stitched into the top here. And so it's loose. You don't want to pull it too tight, otherwise it will bunch up your sides. I just kept it loose, partly to save yarn and just because I'm going to hide it with a border. If you're not hiding yours with a border, you might want to do something a bit prettier there. So there we go. I slip stitched into the top of the first double crochet, the turning chain, and now I'm going to single crochet into that space. So the turning chain effectively doesn't actually count for anything. It's just a beginning of a border. So now it's going to be easier to see where you're meant to put your single crochets into, because you've got this nice pattern with a nice little gap to go into. I'm going to chain 2, just like we did before, and single crochet into that space. Chain 2, skip 3, and single crochet into that space. Chain 2, single crochet into that space, and you keep going until you reach the end. Here's my last one. I've chained 2. I'm going into that space like usual with a single crochet, and now at the top here, so it's a little easier to see from the second row onwards, but here is that the top of that turning chain, the top there, the V, and you're just going to put another single crochet in there. I'm going to drop my yarn, put in my marker, and there we go. It's coming along nicely. So I'll do a few more of these just to show you how to do it, or how I do it rather. I'm sure there's a better way, but this is how I do. Turn my work, get rid of the unused yarn. So you do get a bit tangled, especially as your blanket gets longer, or whatever you're making a project. As it gets longer, you've got to really keep on top of these, where your yarn's coming from, because it gets a little bit tangled. Just slip stitch into, make it loose, a loose slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. All right, and then chain 2, then going to put 3 double crochets into this space. 1, 2, 3, and just keep putting double crochets, 3 double crochets into each of these spaces until you reach the end. there we have it. I finished my three double crochets into each space, and now I need to finish off this edge, otherwise you're going to start losing it. So into, not here where my very loose one is, but up here is another double crochet, which will be the edge, like so. And as you can see, it creates this really pleasant pattern as you go up and as you go further along. I am going to leave it here. You can figure out how to do the bordering however you want. You're just going to stretch it a little bit, see where you can border in there to make it look nice, to effectively cut off here with your stitches so you hide them. And there you have it, a beautiful little block stitch.